Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video, I'm going to take a look at what's going to happen to Priest decks in the standard rotation that's coming next month. Priest is going through some extensive rework, so how are the current meta Priest decks going to handle that, and will any of them be left alive in the next expansion? If you enjoy content like this, please subscribe to this channel and check out the description for my Twitch channel and other social media. And now, what's going to happen to Priest decks? We'll start with the most popular and most effective Priest deck currently in the meta, which is Resurrect Priest. Before the rework was announced, I thought Resurrect Priest was potentially going to have some tough times, because it's losing Mass Hysteria, Ziliax and Cerex Cloning Gallery. Cerex Cloning Gallery is the single best performing card in the archetype, but I have already played budget versions of this without that and it's completely doable. It's not so essential that you wouldn't be able to succeed without it. Then Ziliax, okay, healing, that's also pretty important and useful, but you can live through that. Mass Hysteria, losing a board clear, that is the worst thing that can happen to a control deck, because this deck is already using all the board clears available. So how can it survive through that? Luckily, the Priest rework probably gives us an answer to that, because Holy Nova is getting a buff, going down to 4 mana, so that will be available earlier, and there's going to be the Shadow Word Ruin, destroy all minions with 5 or more attack. So while these are not as good as Mass Hysteria, these are some kind of board clear tools, so Priest gets access to a bit more board clears. There's some hope for the deck to succeed, even in the absence of Mass Hysteria. There's also the upcoming buff to Shadow Word Death to make it cost just 2 mana, so there are fair few removal tools in the new Priest classic set, and those are probably enough to help the archetype. I think it's also warranted to take a look at the quest version of Resurrect Priest. The quest version is better against control decks, the non-quest version is better against aggro and mid-range decks. So, with very few control decks around, quest version is just inferior at the moment. However, it doesn't always have to be like that, the meta can change. So, is there any real difference in the cards that the quest version and the traditional version lose? They use a few different cards, but the cards that they lose are the same: Mass Hysteria, Ziliax and Cerex Cloning Gallery. It's particularly notable that Batterhead is going to stay in standard format, because that is one of the cards that really makes the difference between the quest variant and the regular one, because this is fairly useless without the quest, but with the quest it becomes a great board clear tool. And it remains available, so if the meta is a little bit slower, then Quest Resurrect Priest remains an option. Then there is Combo Priest, and well, Combo Priest is going to go through some tough times. Topsy-Turvy is rotating out. Topsy-Turvy together with Inner Fire just gave the deck a lot more consistency in pulling off that combo. Notchhigh Cleric is rotating out. Yeah, that hurts a lot, because that card draw with the Cleric, the Pyromancer, the Circle of Healing, that was just essential to the deck, and now that's going away, so that's going to hurt this archetype a lot. And yeah, Divine Spirit is going away, so you don't even have a combo anymore. That of course also makes it very difficult for this archetype to survive. Acolyte of Pain going away, Extra Arms going away, and One Summoned the Dead going away, so Combo Priest, the way it used to be, is dead. But Inner Fire is not going away, so there is kind of still some hope for some kind of a tempo-based Priest deck with high health minions and Inner Fire. In the Priest rework we're getting a new Priest card, the Kultiran Chaplain, a 2-mana 2/3 with a Battlecry, give a friendly minion +2 health. This card, by the way, this is just totally bonkers. This is a great card, but it requires you to have something on the board. And the same with the buffed up version of the Temple Enforcer that's going to come with the rework. 5 mana 5/6, Battlecry, give a friendly minion +3 health. These are some solid cards. Priest looks like it's going to become a class that really tries to fight for the board, get some high health minions on the board, and then Inner Fire to make them even more intimidating, although not quite a one-turn kill, because the Divine Spirit will be missing. Now, whether that sort of tempo Priest can work is another matter, but there are definitely some tools for it to be attempted. And that seems like the only viable pathway for this type of Priest that the Combo Priest has been, to move on towards the future. And then, even though it's not viable right now, I also want to take a look at Nomi Priest, because Jeff Nomi is not going away. Jeff Nomi is still going to be staying in standard. If you can empty your deck, those 6/6 Greasefire Elementals are there for you. But Nomi Priest as an archetype is losing a lot of other stuff. It's losing Regenerate, Topsy-Turvy, the Cleric, Divine Hymn, Divine Spirit, Seance, like a lot of pain, Witchwood Piper and Grave Horror. And two of these losses are more severe than the others. First there's the Grave Horror, and because you have this archetype that plays like Gadgets and Auctioneer and cheap spells and cycle, draw through the deck really quickly, Grave Horror was immensely useful in the archetype. Costs 1 less for each spell you cast this game, you're going to cast a ton of spells, you can get these Grave Horrors out. The win condition of Nomi Priest against aggression was just to get a bunch of Grave Horrors on the board, and try to win with those. And related to that, and related to the Jeff Nomi strategy, is Seance. Choose a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. Well, if you can't copy your Nomi, you don't really have that final push anymore. Most decks are capable of dealing with one board of 6/6s. It's the second board and the third board of those that come. Those are really the ones that hurt. But with just one board of them, yeah, that doesn't look very promising. Also, you can't seance your Grave Horrors anymore, because previously you could do like Grave Horror, Seance, Grave Horror. So against aggro you could build a wall of taunts, but now you don't have the taunt minion. So things look really tough for this type of combo priest. There is still the Gadgets and Auctioneer. There are still a bunch of cheap spells that you can use to cycle with the Auctioneer. There is still Jeff Nomi. So some of the building blocks of these types of decks remain in standard format, but it loses so many key pieces that just have to be replaced with something else, that unless it gets something good in the expansion, it is dead. If it wasn't already with its sub 40% win rate at the moment. In addition to those current meta decks, I would like to highlight a couple of other cards that are rotating out of standard format that affect Priest in particular. For example, Camellios is rotating out. Camellios was a card that saw some play in Priest, but there were rarely Priest decks where it was good, because it's good in a mid-range tempo style deck. And you know what? That sort of Priest deck might be coming in the expansion and with the rework, and Camellios won't be part of it because it's rotating out. So that's one tool that sort of Priest deck would have loved to have, but is now losing. Then there's Omega Medic. I used Omega Medic actually in quite a few budget decks, for example, just a great tool to heal up in the late game. And if this sort of tempo style priest deck would become a thing, then Omega Medic 3 mana 3/4, you can play it for tempo, or you can play it late in the game for healing. That could have been one of the pieces in the toolkit to save it against aggression and still have a decent minion to play against slower decks. But that's going away, so no access to that one. Fire 3 Witch Doctor is going away, which was a pretty good card in dragon-based priest decks. So if someone's trying to build like a dragon-based mid-range priest deck, then that's one tool that's going away. And Princess Talanji is also rotating out. And Princess Talanji has been such fun with Galakrond. So if you're Priest Galakrond, you generate some random minions to your hand, priest minions, and then you play Princess Talanji and boom, instant tempo swing. It hasn't seen a ton of play because Galakrond priests have mostly been of the Resurrect variant, but even those Resurrect variant Galakrond priests have often been able to roll Princess Talanji from their hero power and then get access to that tempo swing, but that one is going away from standard format. So overall, these more combo style priest decks are suffering a lot. The Resurrect control style priest deck is not suffering nearly as much, and with the rework it looks like it has a decent chance to survive. And the rework gives priests some tools to build these sort of tempo or mid-range lists, but those lists are losing some of the tools that they already had available, but that didn't have time to shine because that archetype was not viable in the past.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.